40 days and 40 nights.
Welcome to our 36th installment of the Lenten Challenge, and today we are on Good Friday. So pardon me if my voice is a little hoarse. We just got through our services, and I also just did the Stations of the Cross. So one of the questions we're going to cover today, we're going to cover between now and Saturday, a lot of questions involving basically what happens now between now and Easter. And there's a lot of hearsay, traditions, and other things, but I'm going to do my best to answer a few big questions that sometimes come up. So today I'm going to answer a hard one, a heavy one, but one that suits this day itself. Did Jesus actually die on the cross? Go. Yes. I could leave it there. In the early church, a lot of the former, like the bishops and the leaders of the church at that time, often debated like how Jesus could be fully God and fully human at the same time and still die. I mean, how could that work? Like the idea that maybe he didn't fully die. Maybe it was just, something happened and the body is left behind, but he's okay. No, Jesus died. Two reasons why it's important that he did. One is that if he didn't, then all of this was for nothing. Because in the recognition of him as a sacrifice for us, for our sins, for us to be made whole, for us to be redeemed, if the cross was just phony, then so is our salvation. And on the other hand, the idea even that he could survive or suffer all of that and then come out okay, even enough to live just a little bit before the tomb, between all the people handling him off the cross and getting him wrapped up and preparing him for the tomb and everything else, there's no way that somebody wouldn't notice that he was still alive. And more to the point, the scriptures themselves even say it. In pretty much all four of the Gospels, it lists a point in time during the crucifixion when it says that he either gave up his spirit or breathed his last and died. And on top of that, it's also the idea, too, that he even said, "It is finished," and things like that. But another thing, too, is that the two thieves on either side of him, it is said, they had to break their legs to help them die, basically, because they didn't suffer as much as Jesus. Jesus was flogged, Jesus was beaten, Jesus was spat on, Jesus was kicked around, and then on top of all that, forced to carry the heavier of the three crosses, because they had to add a bit to the top of it to hang the sign on that said, "Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews." So throughout all that, he was already suffering and broken. So being on the cross to die took no long time. But they didn't have to do the same thing for the thieves. They had to break their legs and then take him down, and then they died. So when they buried him in the tomb, Jesus of Nazareth had died, as it needed to be. Okay. That was a couple of minutes. So with all that in mind, as hard as it was to say, it's the truth. And more importantly, without recognizing the death of Jesus, even back in the early church, they would have considered it kind of blasphemous. So that's something to consider as well. But for anybody questioning, is that exactly what happened? If anybody ever wondered about it, yeah, Jesus fully died. Not without purpose. It was for our redemption. It was for going to bat for us up with God. It was to relieve sin throughout the world. It was to make our relationship renewed once more with God in the way that we had been so separated from him. But yeah, he did. And that's what we remember today. All right. God bless. Stay safe. Pray safe. And I got one more question to answer.